Hello dear students. So this lecture is in continuation with derivative based approach what we have discussed in last lecture. Now we will see how we can apply this derivative based approach to detect, mainly we'll see how we can detect the QRS complexes. So as we know that in an ECG signal, you can see in a figure a ECG signal. So the QRS complex has the largest, we can say, slope, and it has the largest magnitude. Therefore, the derivative operator is the logical choice which can be used to detect the QRS complexes. So QRS complex in a cardiac cycle is it is a result of rapid conduction and depolarization characteristics of the ventricle. So it has the highest magnitude in an ECG signal. Now also we know that the gradient, or I can say the derivative operator, it mostly boosts the high frequency signal, and also it is sensitive to noise. Now we will see what can be the basic block diagram which is using this derivative based approach for QRS wave detection. So we have, you can see in the figure, we have the ECG signal, and this ECG signal at the very beginning, it is passed through a derivative operator followed by a thresholding. Now what is the function of derivative operator? And what is the purpose of including a threshold into this? So the function of derivative operator is to suppress the other part of the signal, mainly we can say the constant part or the P wave or the T wave, and it should also boost the QRS complex. And then with the help of thresholding, we can actually get the QRS peak. So if we want to detect the QRS peaks, so we are including a threshold in this complete system. Now let's go to the different proposed method, and in that we will first discuss the technique which is proposed by Balda et al. And this is further studied and improved by Elstrom and Tompkins, Fresson et al. And then further it is again improved by Tompkins in his book. Now as we know that the derivative operator is sensitive to noise. So if you see in this block diagram, they have also included one filter before the derivative operator. So we can say basically this first filter, if you see, like we are passing this ECG signal to a filter, and then the output of filter is fed to the derivative operator, and further it is fed to threshold to detect the QRS peaks. So we are using this first filter. Basically we want to reduce the amount of noise, or we can say we want to improve the signal to noise ratio of the signal. And then what derivative operator is, it is basically robust to the low frequency noise. So the filter is basically used to suppress the high frequency noise if it is present in the signal. Now let's see how this scheme works. So we have used 3-point first derivative. The first thing is we are using 3-point first derivative of the signal. You can see in this equation y naught n, which is given as mod of xn minus x of n minus 2, and this is the best. If you remember, we have done in derivative approach a 3-point central difference method. So it is a kind of that, and we are taking magnitude in this. Basically, for the purpose of presentation, absolute value is taken, because if we don't take the absolute value, then we have to use two thresholds, one above the 0 and another below the 0. So make it simple. We are taking the absolute. Now the next step is we are calculating the second derivative, and it is approximated, as you can see, the equation for y1n. So this is again mod xn minus 2 x of n minus 2 plus x of n minus 1. Basically we have taken the second derivative of this first derivative. So we have taken with respect to n. Now the next step is we have to take the weighted combination of the above two derivatives. If you see what we mean by weighted, basically we have not taken both the derivatives in equal proportion. So it is found actually, when some research has been done on this, that if we take unequal contribution of both these derivatives, mainly if you see, we have for y1n we have 1.1, and for y0n we have 1.3. So when we are taking little more contribution of we can say first derivative, or little less contribution of the second derivative, that is y1n, and first derivative is y0n. So we are keeping 1.3 fraction for y0n and 1.1 fraction of y1n. Then the signal obtained, basically it will give better detection, and this part is then further it is passed to a 8-point moving average filter, you can see. So the input, basically this MA filter will have Y2 as the input, and the output we are given with Y3N. So it is passed Y2N, we can say Y2N has been passed to a 8-point moving average filter, that already we have studied in the moving average filters lecture. In that we have discussed about this 8-point moving average filter. So basically it is done to fulfill the purpose of thresholding, and the subsequent 8 samples, because now we are taking 8 previous samples, so the subsequent 8 samples are tested against the same threshold, and what the threshold we are keeping is 1. Generally it is 1 for in this model which has been proposed. So if now at least 6 of the points pass this threshold, then the segment of 8 sample is taken to be a part of QRS complex, and if the 5, you can say, points, if they are not passing the threshold, then we will not consider it as a part of QRS complex. So it is the how we are keeping the algorithm for QRS wave detection. First thing is we are calculating first derivative of the signal, mainly 3-point central difference method, and then we are calculating second difference from this first derivative only, and then we are obtaining the weighted combination of these two derivatives, and then we are passing this to a moving average filter and keeping the threshold as 1 to detect the QRS peak. Now let's look at one illustration for this. So this, you can see, we have taken this picture as a reference from a book, Rangaraj M. Rangayan, Biomedical Signal Analysis. And if you see the first figure, so it will show 2 cycles of a filter. We have taken this as a direct filtered ECG signal. In this we have used a kind of low pass filter, that we will discuss how we can design a low pass filter. So this ECG signal is a filtered signal. It is having 2 cycles of ECG, as you can see, 2 peaks mainly representing the QRS complexes, and the signal is sampled at 200 Hz. That is, the sampling frequency is chosen to be 200 Hz, and then at that sampling frequency a low pass filter with cutoff frequency of mainly 90 Hz we have used when we have passed this to a filter, and also a notch filter is used at 60 Hz. Both we will see how we can design a notch filter, how we can design a low pass filter in the coming lectures. So why we are using 90 Hz? Because we want to remove some high frequency noise if it is present. And the other thing is why we are considering a notch filter at 60 Hz, that is mainly to remove the power line interference. So the signal is finally then it is normalized by dividing its maximum value. That's why you can see the range is, maybe it is within the range of -1 to 1 because it is normalized. Now the next operation is, what we have to do is, after filtering, if we get ECG signal, we have to pass to a derivative, and what first derivative we are calculating is y naught, that is first derivative of that ECG signal. And then after that you can see we will compute, we will compute y1, that is the second derivative of, we can say, y naught, or next derivative of y naught and second derivative of ECG signal. You can see that thing. And you see the when we are taking first derivative and second derivative, you can see the multiple peaks are there. So multiple peaks are mainly due to the fact that QRS complex includes three major swings. We have Q to R, then R to S, then S to ST baseline. So we have different, we can say, ranges or swings. So because of that, we are having those multiple peaks. So after y1 means after second derivative, what is the next step? Next step is we have to take the weighted average or weighted combination of y0 and y1. Again, the coefficients are same. 1.3 we are choosing for y0 and 1.1 is for y1 because we want little more contribution of first derivative and little less contribution of second derivative. So we can see that it gives relatively high values in the derivative based results at the QRS locations, and the outputs are low or negligible at the P or T wave locations, in spite of the fact that the original signal possessed an unusually sharp and tall T waves. So now even in Y2 we still get local peaks, you can see. So it is not very prominent that which one is the exact location. So for that, what we are doing is we are passing it to a 8-point moving average filter. Basically it will smooth, it will give the smoothing kind of effect. So you can see Y2 signal which is obtained after that 8-point moving average filter. All the jagged edges of the signal are now smooth. So we have obtained a kind of smooth complex. So they merge into a single peak for each QRS complex. And now next step is we have to pass it to thresholding of mainly 1. So whichever peak will cross that 1, we'll say that it is a part of QRS complex. Means actually there the QRS complex is located, and so this will help us in detecting the QRS peaks. So this is how we can detect QRS peaks using derivative based operator, and also we are including in this the moving average filter. Now this method we can't perform directly on an ECG signal, as it is not always true that QRS will always be the highest wave in a cardiac cycle. So it is little bit like difficulty or limitation of this method, that always it is not true that QRS complex will be the highest value or highest magnitude in the cardiac cycle, and also it has to use some filters before we are applying this derivative based approach. So this was all in this lecture. Again, we have taken, as I mentioned, the image and some data from this Rangaraj M. Rangayan book, and you can refer that book for more details. So for now, thank you so much.